Well, we're here at the CCA workbench. And
Yes,
Dave,
sir.
you know, we missed you last week. You were down at doing a Marlin U in Guatemala,
Yep,
Casa
it
Vieja
was very
Lodge.
nice.
How'd that go, bud?
It was good. You know, we caught, I think on my boat, we caught 55 sails and a blue marlin. Caught about a 300-pounder on 30-pound.
Dang.
So it was really good. Our fellows got a lot of tries, and you know, some of the things, we caught some nice big dolphins. There's a big 30-pound dolphin around everywhere. That one's probably about 35 pounds. The sailfish, you know, 100-pound sailfish everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, we're getting 30 shots a day until the last day. That was the fellow from George from South Padre Island, who caught his first blue marlin, and he had to take the plunge. And that's Austin and Randy and Kyle and Bob, I think, Paul. So they were all boys from Texas who came and did a Marlin U with us. And there's that's boy's big dolphin that we
Well,
had.
hopefully they're watching.
Yeah, I hope so, man.
That's
That was
all
a pretty
good.
sailfish we caught.
Good pictures,
So we caught,
Dave.
yeah, man. Those aren't the best ones. I saved the best ones.
Of course, you always save the
trying to
best for
sell
you,
them.
Dave, of course,
I'm
you know.
trying to sell them to make money.
All right, so
anyway,
let's
well,
clean it up
we're going to
over
talk.
here.
We're going to talk a little bit about you know, taking care of your rods, and this all came about. I was fishing in Lake Tahoe with my buddy the other day, and I was making a cast with this rod right here, and I made a cast, and my brand new swim jig just kept flying, 200 yards.
What?
You know, well, it didn't have nothing on it except for just a swim jig. Phew, it went flying because the line broke.
So what happened?
So it flew, and then I couldn't figure out what was wrong, so I tied another line on. I thought, oh, you know, sometimes the braid will get old and you won't notice. And I threw again, and this time my link went flying in there. After the second break, I said, one of these guides is messed up. And I went and I started feeling all the guides, and it's that one right there.
Look how
yeah,
it
you can
grabs.
see it grabbing it.
Look at it grabs.
Yeah, it's grabbing
that?
it. There's a tiny little crack
Little nick.
on the underside of that guide, and my braid would get up in there, and it would snap it just like that. And
So a good test, Dave, is when you can use a pair of your wife's nylon pantyhose.
or yours, or your pantyhose,
Not
if you
mine.
like.
I gave that up a few years
I
ago.
gotcha.
You know, it was too cold, shaving my legs all the time.
Yeah, I got you.
But you can see the fuzz is growing on
Right.
there from the deal, and you
Right.
can feel it. You can feel it, right?
And it's good, you know, especially spinning rods when you're when you're going on trips and stuff. They can get knocked out of a line. The little inserts in there can not come out. You know, there's several different kinds of guides. There's metal guides with a ceramic insert or a plastic insert. There's stainless guides that are just the guide itself with no insert. I like those because the insert can't break or fall out.
Right.
But they're kind of hard to find, and once they're scratched, they're ruined. At least with these, you can sometimes replace an insert. And there's also roller guides, you know, like these when you're using real heavy tackle. You know, 50-pound and above, you know, you'll have to use a roller guide. Or if you're using really ultra light tackle, world record fishing, like this one, you know, you can use these, which are ultra light guides, which, you know, are incredibly small. This is like a 4-pound. But all these things have roller bearings in them, and they have to be taken care of, because if they stop rolling, you stop losing your advantage. And what we'll do is we'll clean them, and a good thing to clean them with is some good isopropyl alcohol. Now it's really convenient. It comes in a nice little spray bottle.
Right.
You use some of this, a Q-tip, or a cotton ball, and you hit each one of these guides real good, and you dig in there and get all the gunk out,
Right.
and make sure that thing's spinning. Sometimes it's a good idea to get a piece of yarn and run it through there, or a big
or
piece
even
of string,
or mono.
or a piece
you can
of,
use a piece
just
of 30
just to
or
make
40.
sure everything's running real good. Now you can get tips for rods. You know, you don't have to throw a rod away just because the tip comes off. You can get some tip glue, you know, which you melt and put on there. You can actually get a whole series of tips from anybody and put those on. And now, one of the big things that most people do is when their handles get messed up, they'll ditch a rod.
Yeah,
this
so
is a GL Loomis rod, and they're expensive. And I've had it for a long time, and you can tell.
Here's the non-clean part.
Yeah.
And so how did you clean that,
I
Dave?
use some 220 grit sandpaper. You don't want to use much smaller than that or much bigger. If you use too much grit, you can take chunks off. And if you use too smaller grit, you just start muddying up. But this works great on any type of cork, And
right?
or it will also work on EVA foam.
So here on the EVA, you can see right here where you cleaned it.
Well, I just cleaned it with the EVA foam. You can clean with a toothbrush. That's the first thing you want to do, is try to get a good clean with just water and a toothbrush. And then if it's still dirty, you can still use the sandpaper on it. That 220 grit sandpaper works good on the EVA foam as well as the cork.
Hey, I learned a lot over here.
Yeah,
A little rod maintenance can go a long way, Brie.
Exactly, and Dave said it was the first time he's opened up a box of Q-tips in a while, huh,
Yes,
Dave?
I don't
Only to
use
clean
the
the rods.
Q-tip.
Only
Yeah.
to clean the rods.